Materialism is a cultural phenomenon that places a strong emphasis on acquiring and displaying material possessions as markers of success and happiness. It often promotes the idea that personal worth is tied to external wealth and possessions. Narcissism, on the other hand, is a personality trait characterized by a heightened sense of self-importance and an excessive need for admiration. Connecting the dots. Several factors suggest a connection between materialism and narcissism. Social comparison. In a materialistic culture, the pervasive emphasis on possessions, appearance, and lifestyle fosters an environment of constant social comparison. Individuals are encouraged to measure their success and worth in relation to others. This incessant measuring can stoke feelings of inadequacy and the desire to appear more successful and impressive than one's peers. These reactions align closely with classic narcissistic traits. For instance, in a materialistic culture, people may frequently compare their homes, cars, or designer clothing to those of their friends and acquaintances. This constant comparison can lead to a sense of competitiveness and the need to outshine others, reflecting narcissistic tendencies. Validation through consumption. Materialistic cultures often propagate the notion that acquiring and flaunting expensive possessions is a pathway to gaining social status and validation. Narcissists are innately driven by their relentless need for admiration and validation. In this context, material possessions can be perceived as tools to achieve these coveted forms of recognition. For example, a narcissistic individual in a materialistic culture may believe that owning a luxury car or living in an extravagant house will garner admiration from others and solidify their social standing. This desire for validation through conspicuous consumption aligns with narcissistic traits. Pursuit of perfection. Within a materialistic society, the pursuit of perfection, both in appearance and lifestyle, is highly emphasized. The pressure to conform to societal ideals of beauty and success can be intense. Narcissists, who are driven by their desire for unattainable perfection and a sense of superiority, may be naturally drawn to these cultural ideals. For instance, individuals may feel compelled to undergo extensive cosmetic procedures or accumulate material possessions to project an image of flawlessness and affluence. This aspiration for perfection in line with cultural standards is reflective of narcissistic traits. Shallow relationships. Materialism often leads to a focus on shallow transactional relationships that are primarily based on what one can gain from others. In this context, interpersonal connections may become means to an end rather than valuable in themselves. Narcissists, who are known for prioritizing their own needs and often lacking empathy, may find it easier to thrive in an environment where relationships are primarily transactional. For example, individuals in a materialistic culture may form relationships or friendships based on the potential benefits they can derive from the other person, such as access to wealth, status, or resources. This transactional approach to relationships aligns with narcissistic behavior. Reinforcement loop. A materialistic culture can create a reinforcement loop for narcissistic behavior. Individuals who engage in narcissistic behaviors to fit into this culture may discover that these behaviors are rewarded with social approval and success. This positive reinforcement can encourage them to perpetuate and intensify their narcissistic tendencies. For instance, a person who exhibits grandiosity and self-centeredness in a materialistic culture may find that these traits lead to greater admiration, envy from others, and even financial success. These rewards reinforce their narcissistic behaviors, creating a feedback loop. The other side of the coin. While there may be a connection between materialism and narcissism, it's essential to remember that not everyone in a materialistic culture becomes narcissistic. Many people maintain their values, empathy, and authenticity. Additionally, narcissism is a complex personality trait with various contributing factors, including genetic, environmental, and psychological influences. While there may be a link between materialism and narcissism, it's crucial to avoid oversimplifying the relationship. It's not accurate to claim that materialism causes narcissism, as many factors contribute to the development of narcissistic traits. Moreover, not all individuals in materialistic cultures exhibit narcissistic behavior. Instead of laying blame solely on materialism, it's more constructive to consider how our culture can encourage values that promote empathy, authenticity, and meaningful connections. By fostering a culture that values these qualities, we can create a counterbalance to the potential rise of narcissistic traits in our materialistic world.